What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another weather forecast, and this is our last day of 2020 here. So let's make it end on a good start here. So I'm gonna be doing a double upload on this wonderful New Year's Eve here to end off a horrible 2020 year. So I'm gonna excite you guys with two uploads today here, even though usually I don't post on New Year's. But we're gonna be talking about, of course, the potential for the major ice storm here that's gonna bring in dangerous traveling conditions, as of what we're talking right now in Texas, all the way up to tomorrow morning, all the way up into portions of the Ohio Valley and Midwest. So we are watching a big threat for not only some snow but mainly an ice storm here. We're looking at up to an inch or more of ice for millions of people here, and that's going to create power outages, impossible travel for post New Year's traveling, whether people are going back home or visiting family to start out 2021. It's going to be very dangerous here as well. We're not only watching out for the frozen precipitation rate threat, we're also wondering for some severe weather threat and some dangerous flooding. So there's millions at risk across the whole United States for some dangerous New Year weather, whether it's in the southeast and eastern corridor to get major flooding, or towards the plains where we can get extremely icy and snowy conditions. So we'll be looking at all this today. We're not just going to be focusing on the ice storm as well. We're going to be looking at some other severe weather. So it's going to be a general New Year's forecast, but mainly focusing on the ice storm here. That's obviously the main topic here. But if you like my type of content, be sure to subscribe. I really would appreciate it if you subscribe. I'm trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the beginning of summer. As well, be sure to as well hit the like button if you really enjoyed the content and the video itself. And if you have any questions on whether your local forecast can get ice, snow, or rain this New Year's, then be sure to ask them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to respond to them. But without further ado, let's get into the video here. So let's go ahead and now get out at this Google Slides. And this is looking at the National Weather Service, and a lot has changed compared to yesterday. I mean, a lot. Now, weather alerts for this ice storm go all the way from Texas and the Mexico border, all the way to areas like Ohio and Pennsylvania. So definitely it's been really crazy, very widespread. I mean, look at all these people under some type of weather alert in the eastern and central United States as well. Like I just say, can't forget the severe weather threat. Tornado watch is issued for the Houston metro area, and flash flood watch is issued for a few million from Houston, Texarkana, Little Rock, Shreveport, all the way up to areas near Fayetteville, up there in Arkansas. So we're really watching as well a very big flooding threat and potential for some tornadoes on the Gulf Coast there this going from now to this afternoon. But the biggest threat will most likely be later this afternoon. So right now the biggest severe weather is slowly, gradually starting to form here. But more to the north, that's where we see that most dangerous severe weather, or that most dangerous weather, and that'll be the ice and the snow. We're actually in some places we'll see more ice than snow here. However, where we see more snow than ice will be actually in southern Texas here, where we have the snow as we speak here. Windstorm warnings there, up to 1.5 feet of snow is possible. You heard me, up to 1.5 feet of snow potentially for southwestern Texas, where they average up to an inch of snow annually. They can get up to 18 inches. That is absolutely crazy way to end 2020. 2020 has been a very weird year with weather, and this is proving it. So we have windstorm warnings there for southwestern Texas, windstorm warnings there just outside the Oklahoma City metro and west central Oklahoma, and even a few windstorm warnings there for areas near the Kansas City metro areas, as well into northern Missouri and far western Illinois. Windstorm watches now have been issued near the Illinois north central Illinois region and far eastern Iowa. So winter weather advisory and alerts from Texas all the way up to Ohio, even just near the Columbus metro area. We have a winter weather advisory for mainly the ice, not really the snow. As well, Indianapolis under a winter weather advisory, Chicago under a winter weather advisory, all the way up to near Lansing with a winter weather advisory. So this is not just a southern plain system. It'll be mainly snow, but as it gradually moves north, it'll convert more to ice. So this is going to be mainly an ice storm, which we have not seen in quite a while. I don't expect ice storm warnings, but there's a possibility for them to happen. Maybe a few special weather statements for ice or ice storm watch, but we're really watching out for some very dangerous and impossible travel conditions, whether it's in the south, that's severe weather, or the north with the ice and the snow here. So Here's like now at the ARRR here, and this only goes 18 hours out, so we can only look at 18 hours, and then we'll look at the NAM. So this is what we have right now in the next 3 hours. Of course, we have that dangerous severe weather, of course, and extreme flooding, up to 4 to 5 inches of rain can go from now on to the end of New Year's morning for some of these areas in the South United States, up to 5 inches of rain. That will really create extreme flash flooding here. So we can't just forget about the southern part of the system. So a few rain showers as we speak this morning across portions of the mid-Atlantic. Nothing to do with the system. The system is way up to the south. To the southwest. So look at Texas, the far eastern half getting extreme severe weather and major flooding and very warm temperatures. However, just to the west, we're seeing ice and snow with well below freezing temperatures. So Texas is literally being split in half, whether it's the summer side or the extreme winter side here. So we're seeing snow for areas like San Angelo, extreme ice for Abilene, up to 12 inches expected for Abilene as well. The ice is nearing San Antonio, and this is going to be expected in the next 3 hours. So really the far western half of Texas is starting to get the ice and the snow, and it'll become more widespread as that cold front to the north will make its way closer to the low pressure, and that will help create a more large system as the temperatures drop. There you see the next, now this is the next let's see, this is the next 8 hours here. So this is now getting near New Year's. This is almost near midnight. And look, we're seeing that rain finally starts to move out of Dallas. Could see some really heavy rain continuing throughout the evening. So it really won't be fun to have fireworks out there. But there's that rain. It's kind of looping around. There's that low pressure right here. You can kind of see the northeastern side where we have those warm temperatures where the cold front has yet to arrive. That's where we're seeing those severe weather and thunderstorms. However, on the western side of that low pressure, that's where that trough will be. That cold front will be riding the back of the system, and the remaining moisture will be snow. And that's where we're seeing very heavy snow for Abilene, San Angelo, maybe a few flurries as far as out of San Antonio and Austin as well. Going to be seeing as well extremely heavy snow. So the problem with this, the ice will stick immediately. So we're going to possibly see up to half an inch of ice in some of these areas. So whatever snow comes down will stick immediately since the snow is coming after the ice. So the ice will already be on the ground like a skating rink. So whatever comes down on the sky will stick immediately, and that's going to be a big threat. If it's really heavy snow, we could be seeing up to 1.5 feet of snow there. As we now get past, this is now past midnight, so this is the New Year's. The ice is becoming more of a threat as temperatures continue to drop as we go more and more overnight. As severe weather threat continues, moving eastward now to Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and even Arkansas as well. That's where we're seeing that big time flooding, maybe some isolated tornadoes, but going to be very weak, maybe a few spin-ups. But more to the north, some of those thunderstorms will start to convert into freezing rain. So you can go from severe weather to now ice pellets falling from the sky. And that's going to be a big threat because the roads will be wet across Oklahoma City, up to areas like Joplin, Springfield, all the way to areas like Poplar Bluff and Paducah, Kentucky. We're going to start seeing that big ice threat. And the thing with that is that these areas that they're getting ice could get snow hours later as that snow is still on the backside of the system. So the snow, it's going to be mainly an ice system. You can see there's only a few snow showers, and that's going to be the south. So you don't have that big snow to the north like we saw with Ivy. This is not a typical system. This system is very, very weird and not really formed up in a normal way. Usually you see the snow all the way to the north with the freezing rain in the middle. However, the freezing rain is the main system here, the snow on the backside of that system. So areas like Oklahoma City can get a very good amount of snow here, and that snow will be very heavy just after that freezing rain and sleet moves out. So we're going to be seeing a ton of ice on the ground, and whatever snow comes down there will stick as well. Now moving into now tomorrow morning, freezing rain is going to be a big threat and big factor for areas like now Joplin, Springfield, Columbus, St. Louis, all the way to areas like Evansville, Indiana, and areas like South Central Illinois. This is what we have 18 hours out though, so this is as far as we can go in the ARRR, but 18 hours out, now tomorrow at this time. Severe weather is going to start arriving now in the Mississippi River Basin, Ohio River Basin, all the way like areas Montgomery, Atlanta, going to start getting those rain showers there up until now tomorrow at this time here. So going to be seeing a big factor. This will continue to go throughout all day tomorrow. Tomorrow will actually be the biggest and most widespread threat, because when people leave tomorrow afternoon to go back home, it'll be almost impossible for areas like Chicago. It'll be impossible for St. Louis. Impossible to leave from Kansas City. Impossible to leave all the way down to areas like Abilene, Texas. I mean, not only that, but some flame threats will be so severe, it'll be very impossible to leave the highways in the southeast. So it's going to be not just a Midwest and South Central threat for traveling, but all the way to areas like Atlanta. It's going to be very poor conditions here, so definitely a big threat. So this is the next 22 hours. Since the NAM can go this far out, I'm going to go ahead and start off with where the HRRR finished off. So there's the eyes really, really blowing up there across areas like St. Louis there, Springfield. Again, this purple's not snow, so don't expect this to be snow. This is going to be ice pellets. No fun. Not even close to being fun. This is the leading factor to car accidents and power outages. And tree limbs could fall, so definitely would not recommend going outside. Not only because of the conditions on the actual pavement, because tree limbs can fall or trees can fall on your car, and that is the leading death when it comes to winter storms and ice storms here. Trust me, I've had ice storms before. They're not fun. So we're gonna be seeing some big ice areas like Springfield, Illinois, all the way up to areas like north central Missouri, into now tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow late morning into areas like Indianapolis and as well as Cincinnati. You can see maybe a few ice pellets coming down the sky there, but as well, look how widespread this ice is. There's no snow in sight. It's as far west as Kansas City. There's no snow. It's no snow at all. This is 100% an ice storm. Usually you see snow to the north, but nothing at all. It's either freezing rain, or nothing at all. That's so weird about the system here. This is if 2020 was a storm, this would be it. Very odd, but dangerous. We're going to be seeing extreme ice now getting in Chicago. Chicago has around 5 inches of snow from Ivy. This ice is going to make it really hard and add on to the wintry mess here. The O'Hare airport going to be an absolute mess to leave, and probably impossible to leave in the highways in the little airport roads there. As well, big impossible traveling as far as Fort Wayne, South Bend, even Columbus can be seeing impossible travel for some people there. Because we're going to be seeing up to a quarter of an inch in some of these areas, which is not like a lot. I mean, it really isn't. But for ice, that is extremely dangerous. You don't want to get you don't want to get ice at all, no matter what amount it is. Even some ice developing in Pennsylvania and New York. I mean, this is how widespread the system's going to be. But there you see on the backside, we'll be seeing a big snowmaker. So areas that got extreme ice, like Kansas City, like St. Joseph, like Iowa City and Davenport, like Chicago and Milwaukee. You guys got extreme ice a few hours before this, and now you get snow on the backside. So whatever snow comes down will stick. So if there were no freezing rain at all ahead of the system, this snow would really it would struggle to accumulate. But since there's going to be up to an inch of ice for some people, up into Missouri as well, in Kansas, we'd be seeing that heaviest ice. This snow will stick like a piece of cake. It'll be like it's like negative 2 degrees. That's how easy it'll be. Like it's going to be like it's negative 2 degrees, but it's just because there's extreme amounts of ice. So whatever flake comes down will stick here, which will lead to high snowfall totals in some of these areas like Kansas City, still to come, Milwaukee as well, Chicago can maybe see a few inches left to come there. But look at that, a lot of snow on the backside of the system now. This is now by January 2nd. January 2nd, we're still seeing the system alive into areas of Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Chicago, still going to get some system here. As well, near Albany, may see a few heavy snow showers. There'll be very, very little there. So this is definitely something to really watch out here. Maybe even some heavy snow now heading towards Detroit on January 2nd. So whatever ice comes down, Detroit can get actual some good amount of snow on January 2nd. So definitely Detroit as well. You guys are not out of the picture for some snow. You guys actually could see some snow. And the chance for snow in Detroit has actually increased a lot. So here's looking out at the snowfall. So all the way from Texas, guys, up to areas like Detroit here. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what we're going to be seeing here. So this is about 1,000 miles of just extreme amounts of severe winter storm. But we can't forget about the few million here in the southeast. So and altogether, the radius of the system can be around 2,000 miles of just impossible to very dangerous travel here. Again, the heaviest of the snow and the most snow will actually be to the far southern part or the origin of the system. And the reasoning is where this is right now in southwestern Texas, there where we can see where we can see up to over a foot of snow. The reasoning for this is because it'll be mainly snow when it's in Texas and Oklahoma. but by the time it moves out of these areas, it'll gradually become more and more ice. So really, as well, areas that are right here are going to get extreme amounts of ice, and then they get snow on the backside of the system. So that makes it even easier for snow to accumulate, which is why Kansas City is now up to 8 to 10 inches of snowfall here. You guys have continued to increase in snow, and now you guys are near a foot of snow here. That's why, because the ice will be there first, and then by the time the snow comes down, the ice will be on the ground 100% ready to accumulate this snow easily. Up to an inch or three left for Chicago to come. Milwaukee, possibly 3 to 5 inches of snow left to come there. I mean, look at these. Up to a foot of snow for areas like Texas, and a scattered area up to a foot in western Oklahoma, because these areas will be seeing extreme amounts of ice and the heavy of the snow here, which is why we have those winter warnings in place. Just north of San Antonio and Austin, up to an inch or snow. So we're getting snow as far south as outside of San Antonio. Abilene, up to 8 inches of snow left to come there. Oklahoma City, you guys are just to the east of the main ice threat, so the heaviest of the snow will be to the west of you guys. So you guys will get maybe a trace or an inch. Areas like Topeka, up to 8+ inches of snowfall. Areas near St. Joseph, looking at possibly anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of snowfall. Davenport, Iowa, looking at about a trace to 3 inches there. All the way to areas like Detroit, a trace to an inch of snow. That has increased a lot, but look at this. This is a lot of traveling. This is a lot of areas that can lead to car accidents. I mean, you got Dallas in the way, you got Oklahoma City, you got Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit. You got all these big cities, and this could lead to traveling issues not only post New Year's but pre-New Year's, especially down there in Texas. That's where the system right now is occurring right now in Texas. So that's gonna be pre-traveling issues. Now that was the NAM. Let's check a look at what the general European shows. They have up to near 2 feet of snow in southwestern Texas, 16 inches of snow. Guys, if that actually they get up to now 20 inches of snow, but that doesn't sound like a lot if you're in Wisconsin. But that's 20 or more seasons worth of snow in some of these cities in just one snowstorm. Abilene, looking at up to 8 to 12 inches. They average 1 inch a year. Areas even more south from the Texas border, they average 0 inches of snow a year. Them, up to 18 to 20 inches. So we're not only getting a ton of snow, but the heaviest all the way to the Mexico border. But some of these cities don't get snow at all. At all. They haven't had snow in years, and they're getting up to 20 inches of snow. That's how crazy this system is, and very, very rare. Of course, up to 6 to 8 inches there across the northwestern Oklahoma area, all the way up to areas like Missouri. And once it actually stops in Missouri, then that snow accumulation starts to die down, as it'll be less snow and less snow and less snow here. So Kansas City up to 9 inches of snow according to the European here, even higher totals there as well, getting up into the western Oklahoma area, which is why Kansas City, western Oklahoma, and southwestern Texas are under those winter warnings, because that's where we're seeing those higher snowfall totals. And the reasoning for some winter watches there in Illinois is because they can also get up to around half a foot of snow. But look at Detroit. Detroit is now looking at 2 to 4 inches according to the European. So Detroit, you guys are not out of this at all, actually. And look all the way up to areas like Columbus, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis. You guys may get a trace of snow, so you guys as well cannot rule out the possibility for some interesting factors here. Now, let's take a look at the rainfall totals here. Let me zoom in real quick here. So this is look at the rainfall totals here. So we can't forget about the south. So I mean, look, big flooding here as well, where we have those flash flood watches, and I do expect those flash flood watches to move more to the east here. I mean, look at all these areas that can get rain. It's not impossible traveling for these areas, but it could be very well impossible for some of these areas. They're near Memphis, looking at possibly 4 to 4.5 inches of rain. Just to the south can get to 5.5 inches of rain there in the far eastern Arkansas area as well. Can't forget about the mid-Atlantic, up to areas in the, I guess you could say, the Outer Banks can reach up to 3 to 4.5 inches of rain. Atlanta, and near my area, looking right here in my area, we're looking at possibly 4.5 inches of rain. So that's not even less than 24 hours. That's in less than 18 hours in some areas with 5 inches of rain. So that's going to create some big time flooding here. Columbus up to 1.5 inches of rain there. Nashville up to maybe 2 inches of rain there. So it's not just the southeast, but in the south central and the Ohio Valley can get some rain. And like near the New York City area, up to 2 inches of rain. So it's gonna be a messy, ball drop in New York City. The lucky thing is, by the time there's rain arrives in these areas, it'll be after midnight. So could get a very spared if you're out there in Times Square. You'll be spared a few hours to stay dry when it gets to 2021. And last but not least, we cannot forget about the ice threat and how much ice will be seen in these areas. So let me move this way, of course. So this is now by getting near New Year's. This is around midnight, getting up to as high as 4/10 of an inch in some of these areas in the Ozarks. So northwestern Arkansas, you guys may not get any snow, but the ice will be a big threat here. So some of these areas like Springfield, St. Louis, Indianapolis, you guys may not get any snow, but you get a lot of ice. So some of these areas can get more ice than snow, which is pretty shocking. They're up to almost near half inches of ice in those areas there in far southwestern Missouri and far northwestern Arkansas. So things rapidly changed, now getting up to over an inch of ice. Over an inch of ice. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot. Like an inch of snow is a lot for me. But imagine an inch of ice, guys. That's like this much ice on the ground. That you can skate on that. You can absolutely skate on that. The tree limbs cannot take that. It'll easily fall. Tires, even if you have winter tires, it won't survive an inch of ice, especially uphill. These areas are rather hilly. The Ozarks in northwestern Arkansas, western Missouri, northeastern Oklahoma, and southern Kansas. Those regions are quite hilly, so it's going to be very dangerous, and especially with traveling. Highways leading to St. Louis can get up to around half an inch of ice. However, near Joplin, south of Kansas City, we can get over an inch of ice, and that's absolutely just treacherous, and you do not want to travel on that. It's like impossible. Now we get later New Year's Day around afternoon. The ice continues to become severe in areas like north central Illinois, like near just north of Springfield, near Washington, can get up to an inch of ice. And then look, as far north as areas like north central Indiana can possibly reach 3/10 of an inch of ice, which is still quite dangerous. As well, even a few areas there to the east in the Appalachians can get near anywhere from a quarter of an inch of ice there as well. Some ice threats as well for areas like New York, of course, from the system, up to possibly getting near half an inch of ice in the areas near the Utica area. So as well, looking at some big ice threats as well for the New York area as well, and then it'll move on into the Appalachians. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll do my last video of 2020 later this afternoon here, so be sure to stay tuned for that. That'll be my last video of 2020. That's absolutely crazy. I can't believe we made it through this year, guys. I really hope you guys really, maybe 2020 wasn't too good for some people, of course, but I hope you could make the best of it. So hope you guys enjoy your last day of 2020. Hopefully this awful year ends, and let's hope 2021 isn't as bad, but really being realistic, it could be as bad. But let's be positive. But bye, guys.